All right, what's up, Rebels? This is gonna be a little bit more of a casual video. I just wanted to share something that I've been thinking about all day. I just got back from the gym, clearly still kind of a mess, but I thought this would be useful to some of you, so I wanted to talk about it, wanted to share about it, and it is about something I am absolutely terrified of. It's not something that's, I'm terrified of in the traditional sense. It's probably not what you're expecting to be, but this thing that I am personally very afraid of is the concept of the glory days. So here's the thing about me. I am one of the most nostalgic people you will ever meet. And over the last month or so, I've been going through a nostalgia bomb in my life. I cleaned out a storage unit of all of my stuff from college that's been there for years. I've been going through and deleting old posts on Location Rebel that haven't, provided any value. So it feels like I'm literally going through my diary and tearing out pages, crumpling them up, throwing them away. Basically just trying to embrace the idea of the past isn't necessarily what's going to bring you a better future. But in doing all of this, it's really brought up the concept of the glory days in my mind quite a bit. So if you've never heard of the concept of the glory days, let me explain it to you really quickly. So imagine, the most popular guy in your high school. He was quarterback of the football team, he was prom king, and really everybody thought this guy was gonna live the life. He was gonna make it, he was gonna do big things. Fast forward 10 years and he's in a dead-end job, probably hasn't left his hometown, didn't graduate college, and he's looking back at his high school life thinking about what could have been and how great those days were. Those are the glory days, and they're absolutely terrifying to me. Why? Because I hate thinking that my best days are behind me. So, when I was, for instance, in my day job, suit and tie, doing the whole thing, I used to think back to my tennis career in high school. I got third place at state, we won districts a couple times. I actually went to the state tennis tournament this last week for the first time since I participated in it in 2003. And again, wave of nostalgia. But it got me thinking about, what if this was it? What if this was the best I ever did? And so then I went to Thailand in 2010. Hey guys, what's up? Sean Ogle on location here in Krabi, Thailand. And I started thinking, years later, it's what if that was all I did? And I just kept thinking about and talking about Thailand, and that was it. And I lived in Bali in 2011. And then we took our sabbatical trip for 2 months in 2017. So when it comes to the glory days, I'm terrified. And that's what motivates me to continue trying to do interesting things. I'd rather not think about it as the glory days, but think about it as having a glory life, where you're always trying to continue to do interesting, memorable, notable things. This is really pertinent to me right now because we're at a point where we're thinking about having kids. And so I look at all of the cool experiences I've had and all the travel I've done and all the flexibility that I've got in my current life. And it's terrifying to think that, okay, all of a sudden I'm gonna have kids and maybe, my best days are behind me. It's nerve-wracking because I've built this life that I love and is great, and I don't necessarily know how having a kid is going to change that. And it's certainly going to change it, hopefully very much for the better, but things are definitely not going to be the same. And so because of that, I've really been thinking about, okay, how can I continue to live a glory life? How can I not say, okay, my best days were behind me, those Thailand days, those Bali days, that time Tate and I took the sabbatical. How can I make sure that that's not it? That we can continue doing interesting things. And there's 3 ways that I've kind of thought about that I'm going to continue trying not to rest on my laurels and trying not to rest on past accomplishments and past experiences and continue to move things forward. So the first is I want to do something memorable every single day. Now, it doesn't have to be this big, extravagant, you talk about this every day for the rest of your life kind of thing, but I want to do something that's notable, that's going to move my life forward. So, as a small example, today, I've been noticing as I get older, I'm losing some of my flexibility. I'm getting a little bit more sore in the mornings and whatever. So for a long time, I've been saying, I want to start doing yoga. I want to start just increasing my flexibility and stretching more and doing all those things that we all know are good for us. So this morning, I got up 6 o'clock, and the first thing I did this morning was I threw on a 20-minute yoga YouTube video, and I did yoga. Now, that might not seem like that big of a deal or that memorable, or it might not be the thing that I talk about 10 years from now, but it's the first time I've done that. It's the first time I've done that, at least in a very long time. And so I hope to make this a habit, something that I do, nearly every day to start my day and to wake up. And if that's the case, I'll look back on today and be like, man, today was the day that I started that yoga practice and that yoga routine. And now I feel younger, I feel more flexible, I feel like I'm in better shape, and all these benefits could come from it. So don't feel like you need to go run a marathon or climb a mountain or move to a tropical island every single day of your life. But as you're planning your days and as you're thinking about what you're doing, especially if you're in a day job or you have a commute, what can you do that's just going to be a little bit more memorable? Maybe it's sending an email to someone influential that you thought you'd never be able to build a relationship with. Maybe it's just walking around your city and looking for something notable and trying to create a story. It could be any number of things, but even if you don't necessarily succeed at that, having the intention of doing something memorable every single day is going to allow you to do more interesting things and not rest on your laurels and fall into that slump of, my best years are behind me. All right, so the second thing you can do to avoid this glory days slump is I want you to sit down and I want you to spend a couple hours, really spend a couple hours and think about this. What do you want to do over the next 12 months? What changes do you want to make in your life? What trips do you want to take? What experiences do you want to have? By sitting down and actually writing this out, you're going to make things much more attainable. So a little known fact about me, way back in 2009 when I first started my blog, I essentially coined a phrase that I haven't seen anywhere before that. I came up with it and maybe it was around, maybe it wasn't. But that phrase was, there's only 7 days in a week and someday isn't one of them. And it's totally true. If you keep saying you're going to do something someday or you'll do it eventually, chances are you're probably not. But if you take the time, really think through what are the things you know you can achieve and you can do in the next 12 months and you write it down, that's going to get you way closer than just saying, I'm going to do it someday. Now, if money is an issue, what I recommend doing is downloading the app Digit. So basically what this does is it takes a set amount of money, you say how much, out of your bank account, every week, every month, whatever time period you set. So basically it just kind of takes little chunks away that you're not even going to notice are missing, but it just does it automatically so you don't have to think about saving. And then you look 6 months down the road and maybe you've already got $800 saved up to take that trip to Paris to see the Eiffel Tower, or to spend on tickets to go to see Hamilton or a Broadway show that you've always wanted to see. So it's all about finding easy and in many cases automatic ways to get you closer to your goal. But the first thing you have to do is you have to set the intention and actually figure out what that goal is. So finally, the last thing you want to do, and this might be the most important, is I want you to find one person that you're close to do this with. It could be your significant other. It could be a brother or sister. It could be your best friend. It could be a parent. It could be a child. But by doing this, my guess is there's someone that's close to you in your life that has lofty goals. There's someone else that wants to do big things. There's someone else that doesn't want to rest on their past achievements. Figure out who that person is for you and sit down and figure out what your goals are together. This works really well, especially if it's a significant other, because chances are your goals are going to be similar. But having that other person you can lean on and someone to kind of push you and say, hey, are you making progress on those goals? Hey, have you started saving for that trip you want to take? Hey, have you started that, blog or that brand that you want to create that can make an impact on the world? Sometimes we just need that person to kind of kick us in the ass and say, hey, you have to actually do this. And accountability is such a powerful thing. So that's why it's important it's someone that you're close to. It's not necessarily some random person on the street or someone you meet online. That can be great too. But I think finding that person that you're close with, that you can be honest with and kind of, really kick each other in the ass a little bit, I think that's what's going to be the most beneficial. So I don't know if this video is useful or not. I'm a nostalgic person. I've been thinking a lot about the glory days, and I've had a number of kind of periods of my life that could be considered the glory days. And I just want to make sure that that number continues to grow through every stage of my life. Don't want to ever say, this is it. This is as good as it gets. It's all downhill from here. And I don't think that you want that either. So in order to not do that, try and do something memorable every single day. Write down what you want to accomplish in the next 12 months and find someone to hold yourself accountable that you can actually hold each other accountable for the goals that you've set. If you do that, you're going to continue to do interesting things. You're going to live a glory life. You're going to have way more cool stories to tell at the end of your life. And frankly, for me, that's the person that wins. The person that has the most cool stories to tell at the end of the day, well, they did it right. Also, want to throw in one more thing. If you are someone who's looking for accountability, if you are someone who is looking to take that leap and do more interesting things, and you need some help, you need someone to kind of pave the way for you, you need someone to help be your mentor, your guide, then I strongly encourage you to check out Location Rebel Academy. It's locationrebel.com/join. We have over 2,500 members that I've been helping over the last 7 years since this has existed, build small businesses that allow them to quit their jobs, spend more time doing the things they love to do, and build a meaningful business in the process. So if that sounds like something you want, I would love to have you. Check it out, locationrebel.com/join. And if you have any questions at all, ever, shoot me an email, sean@locationrebel.com. I would love to answer them and see if it's a good fit for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit subscribe, hit thumbs up, that little notification bell. That's gonna let you know when we have new videos, which is every Thursday. So make sure to check it out if you haven't already. And we've also got a link to the blog post. This was actually a blog post that I wrote years ago and completely forgotten about. So we're gonna update it and make sure that we got the link below. So with that, have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend if you are here in the United States. And again, I will see you next Thursday.